clearly say this is the fastest car I have ever driven in my life. I have never been more excited to drive a car than I am today. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Adam, and today we have the brand new mid-engine Corvette. I have been dying to get my hands on this car ever since I started this channel, and we are gonna spend some quality time with it. This is without a doubt the most anticipated car of the last 10 years. I'm gonna show you and let you listen to why that is. That rear-mounted V8 with the roar. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so now. I can only create more content like this with your support. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. I can't believe we're actually in the new Corvette. I remember when it was just a rumor that there's a mid-engine Corvette coming out, and now here we are. Let's start with the numbers. 495 horsepower, 470 torque out of a 6.2 liter rear-mounted V8. The car does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, which is blistering fast, totally in supercar territory. And let's talk about the most important figure of them all, the price. This car starts at $59,000. That is ludicrous. You can't have such a cool shape without suffering in visibility. So I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a little bit taller, but half of my sight is the top of the car and the windshield is super narrow up front. You can, as always with Corvettes, see the big giant front fenders. I love to see that. I love that they kept that. There is a massive, dangerous blind spot to the right behind the rear seat, and it's because of the engine bay. The interior has always been the worst point of a Corvette. That's one thing we were never able to argue when people said it lacks in interior quality. It's not the most fancy interior I've ever seen, but you cannot argue that anymore. It is a nice interior. All the materials are quality. I mean, anything that's metal is not fake metal, it's real metal. Anything that looks carbon fiber is real carbon fiber. Up here, you're looking at the top, and the amount of detail they've put into something that you can hardly even see, it's shocking. The way that door line on the passenger side swoops up and becomes part of the dashboard on top, I love it. I love the interior of this car. The entire interior is definitely driver oriented. I mean, the whole cockpit here, it just feels like I'm in my own fighter jet. I forget that there's another seat to my right. I feel sorry for the person who's gonna sit there that just has to look at the air conditioning vents, which look nice, by the way, they're not bad. But I have all that I need around me, and it's so close, everything I can touch. This whole dash down here coming down, this line of buttons, it looks intimidating, but I will tell you, all of that is simply climate control. So let's talk steering wheel. This is a squircle. It is a squared off circle, and I actually love it. I've normally had a problem with some of these, unless it's just a little bit squared off on the bottom. This one is almost a total square, but I love it because your hands are constantly on the sides. I've got my paddle shifters mounted to the steering wheel the way I love it, and they're nice and long. They are really high quality metal. I mean, they are cold to the touch. I wish you could feel it. And the shifts are immediate. This has finally got the double clutch system. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Let me finish up the interior thoughts. The seats are very firm. I will say, I'm not sure if this is gonna hold well on a long road trip. And being a little bit of a taller guy myself, my shoulders are sort of wide and I feel them hitting the bolsters, and my back is barely touching the seat, meaning I don't fit into this seat quite well. That's something I would need to change, and I know they offer an upgraded seat, which this does not have. the door panel here, even the materials on the door panel. This has the Bose sound system. Everything is just so high quality. I love that I'm in a Corvette which always had the crappy plastic rubber interiors, and I am touching a cold to the touch brushed metal panel on my door. I love it, I love it. And although there is a convertible Corvette on its way, every hardtop Corvette is actually a removable hardtop. There is one latch up here, one latch on the other side, and then one in the center behind me. Top comes off. I'm not going to do it now. It's a little bit of a colder day in LA, but it is very easy to take off. I have done it. And even the rear visibility, I mean, I'm just practically looking at the sky because there's only so much you can see out of the glass above the engine bay. And I also love how they've done the gear selector here. They've integrated it down here in the center, and these buttons, the shapes around them, it's a theme in the car. These shapes, these really angled, jagged edges, these are on the interior. You see them everywhere on the exterior, on all the body panels, and you even see them in the engine bay, on the engine cover. That is some serious brand DNA. All right, guys, now let's talk power. Oh my God. Oh my God. Whoa. Whoa. That has never happened on a rolling start. I looked down, I hit 60 before, it felt like 2 seconds. Oh my God. That is ridiculous. 2.9, 0 to 60 from the factory for a car that costs $59,000. I don't care what you say. You can't argue that. That double clutch, as I said, the reason it feels so fast in automatic, it's just that quick. Before you know it, you're in the next gear. I mean, you can't even get to it quick enough. I mean, downshifts, upshifts, and I am so glad that they did not go twin turbo on these, because the throttle response is immediate. Whoa. Whoa. We can clearly say this is the fastest car I have ever driven in my life. I am most shocked at how quick the throttle response is, even at the wrong RPMs. You could get lower RPM. The way it pulls, I mean, it just makes you so thankful to GM for not putting a twin turbo in this thing. I mean, look, I'm gonna get to second gear, and in an instant, as soon as we hit it, low RPM, we're gone, we're in third, and we are now breaking every law in existence. And the handling is immense. I have such a level of confidence in this car. It is so stable around the turns. It feels like an all-wheel drive, but it pulls from the back. There's no doubt that there's a major influence on the handling by having the engine behind the driver. Out of the turn, oh, forget about it. The handling is just next level good. I mean, thank you, GM. Thank you so much. Nobody was sure what this was gonna play out as once they went mid-engine, but God, they made the right decision. Keep it this way. During these tight turns, the car is still so stable and so stiff. I have no worries just slamming the throttle, coming out of it, low gear, high RPM, no worry. Wow, you could drive so aggressively. The car stops on a dime. The car pulls like a horse. I mean, oh, this is way too much power, way too much car for this type of accessibility. Too many people can afford this. That's not good. We take it easy as we get near a bike path, and this bike path has taught me the car is obviously the hottest car on the road. Everyone stops to take a look. People have pulled over while I was doing the interior shots to come in, ask me about the car, take a picture with it. It's amazing. I mean, everyone was waiting for this car, and it's on the road. A lot of people use the word refined with this car, and I think they use it in a negative context, but I will tell you, it is less violent than all the other Corvettes, the Z06s, the track cars, and I think that's a good thing. They've refined this car to where it is still scary as hell being in it, but you reach those speeds without worrying for your life. I want to be confident in the car. That's a good thing. Don't be upset at refinement. Into the turn, and you come out of it so fast. Get out of the way, America coming through. The car is so engaging. I mean, the visibility is the only thing that bothers me here. I have to lean down to see what I'm doing, but I feel so confident. I mean, there's just not a care in the world, not a worry for me. Tight corners, long turns. I mean, the car has power and capability at every range. Although this car is not offered in a manual at all, which is a little bit disappointing, but I just realized one of the coolest things about this car. Not a lot of cars with paddle shifters have this, but say you wanted to, as you're driving, you wanted to throw a rev at someone, or you just wanted to rev the car. Look at this, you hold both shifters down, oof, and it jumps right back. That way you can even do a rolling start. I mean, it's really becoming more and more like a true manual. Just, you don't have the shifter. That's pretty much the only difference here. See how that rolling start actually feels. Rev, and we're on. Oh my God, that works so well. That is next level. At the level that this car has taken it, you know what's shocking? That there still is a Grand Sport model that's going to come out. There's still a Z06, there might be a ZR1, and there's just all kinds of variations of this car coming out in the future, which Corvette has always done that. But how much better can it get? Chevy has solved all the problems that we didn't like about the other Corvettes. And the shocking thing is they've done it with keeping the price relatively the same. I don't know how they made this car so much better than what it was while keeping the price at $59,000. GM has hired a bunch of magicians. That's the only way they can do that. Let's talk design for a minute. Overall, there's no doubt the car is striking as hell. I remember the very first time I saw one of these, I was with a bunch of friends in Las Vegas, and it was a factory car with Michigan plates, dealer plates, and from a distance, a friend of mine said, "What kind of McLaren is that?" And we walked up. Before we got there, I knew what we're looking at. I knew from the front end. That is a major compliment to GM for getting this design to the supercar level. And with that said, that's the part I love about the car, the front. The rear, I have a tough time with it. You know, this started with the C7, and I think they're evolving in the wrong direction with the C8, the direction I was hoping they won't go, and that is making it a real Chevy, a real Camaro looking car. And I'll explain what I mean. Every other Corvette has always looked different. They don't look like they have a Chevy DNA. They even have a different badge, right? Corvettes have their own badge, which of course this one still does. And they've always had their own unique look. But since the Camaro came out with the little squared off lights, and I think it influenced Chevy in the wrong direction, and the Corvette was supposed to go in its own road, and now it's starting to follow that edgy kind of mainstream Chevy look. I was hoping they don't do that. The rear did end up that way. Again, this is opinion. A lot of people really like the rear end on this car. I personally don't. I don't know, with the spoiler, without the spoiler, it doesn't help. It really doesn't. I don't think there's going to be a way to fix it without a facelift. What I love is all of the major openings in this car, on the front, the big one on the side, in the rear, they're all real. They're all actual openings. They're not fakes. These vents are needed. This car has a 6.2 liter V8. It needs all the cooling it can get. Even the little openings above the engine bay on the glass, those are real. You can hear the engine as if the hood of the car or the trunk of the car is open. You hear it when you're next to it. Oh, you come out of a corner, forget about it. The car is stupid capable. I mean, I cannot fathom the price of this car. What you get so much car for 60 grand. I'm gonna say it. If they made this car $100,000, there's no doubt everyone would still call it a bargain, and it's almost half that. Let's see what the pull is like on the on-ramp here. Second gear. Oh, that is brutal. Whoa. Those speeds, you cannot talk about those speeds. Corvettes have always been known, because of the bigger engine, to pull really strong even at highway speeds. I mean, I can't tell you what speed we are now and where we're gonna end up, but I mean, a pull at these speeds usually, oh my God. All right, I'm gonna get into my conclusion. It's obvious. I think not only you should get this car, you need this car. This car has put a smile on my face since I sat in it. Every time I look at it, people love this car. It is a supercar at the price of what you would pay for a well-equipped minivan. I can't believe they did this. GM must hate money. If you do meet someone who tells you not to get this car, here's what you do. Pick up your phone, you call 911, and you tell them to bring an ambulance and bring a straitjacket because you have a crazy person on your hands. There is no talking to people like that. You can't deal with them. Why the hell would someone tell you not to get this car? I've owned multiple Corvettes, Z06s in the past. I have a lot of friends who have, and I know there's always the one thing that everyone says. It's a great car, they love it, it's fast, but it's just not on the quality level of a Ferrari, of a McLaren, of a Lamborghini. There's just something to it. Corvette will never get there. Well, I usually agree, but it is getting harder and harder to make that argument. And in this case, you're gonna have a tough time convincing someone not to get this car. At a quarter of the price of the cars it competes with, and it is faster than most of them. It looks better than most of them. It handles better than most of them. I mean, why continue this? I'm not convincing you to do it. You should be convinced just by the numbers you're hearing. Oh, if you think you're gonna have this much fun with anything at $60,000, you're out of your mind. And with all that said, that wraps up yet another video, my favorite video so far, the best car I have ever driven, the fastest car I have ever driven. I have waited and waited to get my hands on this car. It was a major reason why I wanted to start this channel. I could not wait to review this car, and I finally did. I am totally in love, and I am amazed by its capabilities. I thank GM for doing everything right. They could have easily screwed this up by putting the engine in the back. This is their first time doing it with this car, a legendary front engine car, that they wanted to try something totally revolutionary, and you pulled it off. You friggin' nailed it. Amazing. Thank you for watching. I know it was a little bit of a longer video this time, but I would not have it any other way. There was so much hype and anticipation about this car. There is so much to talk about with this car. I had to get it all out of my system, and I'm in love. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so now. I see a lot of views coming from people who are not subscribed to my channel. It greatly helps the YouTube algorithm. It makes my page bigger. It helps me approach companies and show them a greater subscriber list for them to give me cars like this for me to review. As always, have a wonderful day. Let's make this a good year. It's still early on, 2021, off to a great start. Until the next car, I'll see you then.